The Prime Minister has moved to dispel what she's called a dark cloud over the Parliament. Julia Gillard said a line had been crossed and it was time to act. For all the details, we cross now to Chris Hillman. He's in our studio in Parliament House.
The Prime Minister says today's move against two troubled MPs is about upholding standards, but it's also about her survival. Julia Gillard's move to stem the bleeding as the scandals embroiling Craig Thomson and Peter Slipper add more wounds to her already bloodied government. But the treatment came late and has again raised questions about the Prime Minister's judgment and her future. I'm joined by Chief Political Correspondent Mark Simpkin. And Mark, the politics of this were inevitable, weren't they?
Chris, this is one of those surprise announcements that almost everyone in Parliament thought had to happen eventually. As one senior Labor figure told me this afternoon, something's been building for months, something with two words, and the first word is cluster. The party hopes today is a turning point, but it's also prompted awkward questions about the Prime Minister's timing and judgment.
Thank you.
By her own admission, Julia Gillard needs to clear the air.
I feel keenly that Australians are looking at this Parliament, and at the moment they see a dark cloud over it.
Two storms have buffeted this government, and the Prime Minister wanted to deal with both of them, asserting her authority by picking up her phone and putting down her foot.
I do believe a line has been crossed here, and because a line has been crossed, I've acted.
But Julia Gillard can't say exactly what that line looks like or precisely where it lies.
I don't think this is a chemical formula about one molecule plus another molecule gives you an answer. I actually think it's a judgment call.
Craig Thomson received the first phone call.
It's obviously a very busy and difficult day, and we'll move on.
He's moving on to the crossbench, where he'll sit as the Parliament's newest independent.
I indicated to Mr Thomson that I had decided it was appropriate for him to no longer participate in Labor caucus, to be suspended from the Labor Party.
Craig Thomson's accused of using union funds to pay for prostitutes and other indulgences. Two reports into his former union are due to be released in the next few weeks.
Can I point out that there are no allegations that have been substantiated whatsoever? There are no charges against me.
Crucially, for a minority government, Craig Thomson won't force a by-election and will vote with the party that spurned him.
In relation to myself and my values, I am a Labor person, and that's why on the crossbenches I will continue to support the Labor agenda.
Which is why Tony Abbott wants Craig Thomson to stand aside from Parliament altogether.
The Prime Minister has confirmed that there is a crisis consuming the government, but she hasn't resolved it because while she has disowned Mr Thomson, she hasn't disowned his vote.
For months, Julia Gillard stood by her man.
I have complete confidence in the member for Dobell.
Suddenly that confidence is gone.
What does the Prime Minister know now that has suddenly caused her to disown Mr Thomson?
The disowning didn't stop there. This morning, the Speaker got the call.
I have indicated to him that I believe it is best that he stand aside from the position of Speaker for a further period of time.
Peter Slipper's accused of rorting his cab charge account and sexually harassing a staffer. Labor's repeatedly maintained he need only spend a short time in the sin bin. But when Parliament resumes, the Deputy Speaker will take the high chair. This will avoid what could be a controversial debate on the floor of the Parliament, Peter Slipper said in a statement. I believe it's imperative the dignity of Parliament be upheld.
Thank you very much.
A week before the budget, dignity isn't the only imperative.